Good morning everybody, it's Claire Jones here from Your One Life Healthy Weight Solutions, and I'm here this morning for episode 8 of Monday Morning Matters. Now, as hopefully most of you know by now, unless you've just joined the group, in which case a very warm welcome, I go live most Monday mornings around 9 o'clock, and I just talk for maybe 10-15 minutes about perhaps an issue that at least some of you may be struggling with, and it's usually something that I can relate to myself because again, as hopefully most of you know, my history is that I had a long-term problem with yo-yo dieting, putting on and losing the same weight many years over time and not really getting anywhere in the long run. Thankfully I was able to leave that behind and reach and maintain a healthy weight, and as a result of that I now help others like you to do the same. So this morning I wanted to talk to you about something that it was a bit of a, I don't know what you call it, an epiphany for me. And once I'd kind of had this epiphany, I realised that actually this was something that I could apply to really help me to maintain healthy control over my behaviour. Now, I must point out right at the very beginning here that what I'm about to say is not suitable if you have an eating disorder or if you have another kind of active mental health issue that is not well controlled, because this would not be the right approach for you. Okay, so I must say that at the very beginning. But for those of us who don't fall into those categories, this is actually, morning Stella, this is actually, in my opinion, and that's in my professional and personal opinion, a very useful way of looking at things. So what am I going to be talking about, you may wonder. Now, when it comes to weight, obviously our weight is pretty much most of, if not all the time, due to our behaviour. Our eating behaviour. We're going to be eating more than what our bodies need. Now, that's going to be different for each of us, and there's going to be different circumstances behind that. And obviously, there are ways that we can increase the amount of energy that our body needs, in which case that allows us to obviously eat a bit more without putting on weight. But the problem that I think most of us have is that we want to eat more than perhaps is ideal, more than is what's going to enable us to maintain a healthy weight. So we have to try and learn how to manage this conundrum. We do that. There's nothing wrong with us in doing that. It's what we're supposed to do. It's what we're designed to do. We are designed to eat as much as possible, so that we've got enough to sustain us until the next meal comes along. But unfortunately, in the world that we live in, that food is never scarce, so we've got to learn to manage these biological urges that we have, to not overeat. Otherwise, we are not going to be able to maintain a healthy weight. So there's the problem. So when it comes to eating behaviours, they are, for whatever reason, whether that be because we are definitely hungry, or whether it's because we are, feeding our emotions potentially, we develop habits, and those habits, obviously, if we're repeating our behaviours over time, then the cumulative effect of those habits, especially if we're eating too much, if we're always turning to food when we're upset, for example, or eating when we're bored, or watching film, or things when we're not hungry, we develop these habits, we develop these associations, and so it becomes kind of like the norm, if you like. And of course then the cumulative effect of these behaviours is weight gain. Likewise, the cumulative effect of doing the opposite is weight loss. Now, you may have come across a chap called James Clear. He's written a book called Atomic Habits, and his approach is all about these minute actions that we take every day, and what they lead up to. And one of the things that he says, and I love this quote, is he said that every action we take is a vote for the person that we want to be. So if we're taking repeated actions of overeating, we are voting to be overweight. If we take repeated actions in the opposite direction, then we're voting to to lose weight and become a healthier weight. And so the problem, I think, and this is I'm coming to this epiphany moment, is that the consequences of our behaviour when it comes to eating are usually too far removed. So it's all too easy to say, oh, this time it won't matter, this one won't hurt. But of course it will if we continue to repeat those actions. So just thinking about what James Clear has said, this is a vote for the person that we want to be. So we need to make sure that our actions in isolation have that consequence in mind, whether that consequence is to be overweight or to lose it and maintain a healthy weight. So a good way of looking at this, I think, is, and this is something that really helped me, is that, if I knew, and I know this isn't real, but let's just pretend that it is for a moment. So if I knew that tomorrow morning I would wake up a stone heavier and not be able to fit into any of my clothes if I overindulged tonight when I wasn't hungry, whether that be for fun, pleasure, emotional eating, comfort eating, boredom, whatever. If I knew that if I was to engage in that behaviour tonight and I wouldn't be able to fit into any of my clothes tomorrow, would I still do it? And the answer to that question is no, I wouldn't. So by bringing forward in our minds the consequence of our actions, we are more likely to be able to say, actually, I'm not sure that this is the right thing for me to do, and that maybe there's an alternative course of action I can take to deal with the emotional eating issues, the boredom, the associations that we make. So, you're going to sit down and watch a film. Do you need to get the crisps or the popcorn or the ice cream out? Can you do something else? You have to have a cup of coffee, a glass of water, whatever. So it's about recognising these associations that we've made between an action or a feeling, and then an action and the consequence. So by saying, actually, no, I'm going to break this association because I want to vote for the person I want to be, which is not to be overweight. And and this is, it's a very subjective thing. And if you're in this group, if you're here wanting my help, it's because you're not happy with being overweight. So I'm talking as if being overweight is something you want to change. But if you don't want to change it, then that's fine. But I'm here to help those who do want to make those changes. So really, another way to think about this as well is to think, it's the consequences of actions that stop us from doing things. So we tend not to, obviously I can't speak to everybody, but we tend not to shoplift because the consequence of doing so is that, we might get arrested, for one thing. Obviously, morally, it's not a good thing to do, but we might get arrested, and the consequence of getting arrested could be quite severe. Obviously the shame of people finding out, oh my God, I got arrested, to potentially losing a job or losing a family, or, all of those things. Likewise, we, most of us tend not to talk on our phone while driving because, again, the consequence is potentially very severe. We could cause an accident, or we could get caught, or we generally don't tend to punch people if we're unhappy with what they've said to us because, again, the consequences could be pretty severe. They might hit us back, for one thing, or, again, we could get into trouble with the law. So, these consequences are quite immediate, or they're big enough to make us think, no, I don't want to do that. Whereas when it comes to eating, the pleasure outweighs the consequence. We don't think about it. But by taking a step back and actually thinking, is this what I really want to do? Am I happy with the consequence of this action? It could really help. Okay, as I say, this is not an approach that is helpful really for if you have an eating disorder or you've got a mental health issue that is, as I say, not well controlled, because that means you may need specialist help to help overcome these before you can start to kind of really address the eating behaviours. But for most of us, I would hope that this is something that you could try, and just next time that you're due to, or you're feeling the urge to overeat, is just think about what James Clear said about this is a vote for the person I want to be, and see whether you want to change your decision. Yeah. One more thing I will say on this as well is that quite often, you know, we might say to ourselves, oh, I can't control myself. I just can't control myself around food. And, you know I've said that in the past. But the bottom line is nobody actually forces us to put food in our mouths. We choose to do that for whatever reason. You know, as I say, we've all got different reasons for doing that. But if you knew that, you had to have an operation, for example, and they said to you, you have to be have nothing to eat from midnight, and you think, crikey, yeah, I'm going to be starving, and you may be, and this has happened to me before, where they've done that, and you're sitting in the what do you call it, the operation, the pre-surgery lounge, waiting your turn, and you might be last on the list, so you're starving, hungry, but you still don't eat anything. You could, but you choose not to because you won't get your operation. Or if you did eat something when you weren't supposed to, the consequences of that could be quite severe. The operation could be really dangerous. The anaesthetic could be really dangerous. You could choke in the operation. So we don't do it. So rather than saying I can't control myself, I won't. I'm choosing not to. And then it's like, then it's a question of delving a bit further and thinking why. So, sorry, a message come up on my screen. So I'm just going to leave that with you, and you can have a think about whether you could apply this next time you are in this situation where you are wanting to eat either too much than you perhaps need, or when you're not hungry, and think about, the consequence. But I don't want you to do it in a way that is judgmental. Okay, this is about being able to take a step back and just be neutral about the situation. Think, is this what I really want to do? Is this going to be helpful to me? And if it's not, then can you do something else instead? And it's practice. These things aren't going to change overnight, but the more you can practice this way of thinking about it, I'm sure it will help you to start breaking those associations and challenging yourself, because we are creatures of habit, and when we try and break habits, it can be a bit uncomfortable to begin with, but the more we do it, the easier it becomes. So let me know what you think, and obviously if you're watching on replay, do say so in the comments, and let me know if you try this. I'd love to know if you try it and see how you get on, and obviously let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you in the group.